It is said that in order to join the ranks of some of the world's most avid travelers, such as the Traveler's Century Club, one has to visit at least 100 different countries. And while traveling to over 100 countries may seem a difficult feat to achieve, today in Canada you may cross paths with people from over 190 different countries, thus giving you a chance to learn and discover what only some of the world's most seasoned travelers do. Chinese cuisine is perhaps too broad a term to describe hundreds of intricate recipes coming from various corners of China, with thousands of years of traditions behind almost each and every one of them. And in Canada, this beautiful cuisine takes on new shapes, colors, and of course, flavors.
So opening my own restaurant was always a dream of mine since I was a kid. Growing up, it was very difficult to try and realize this dream. Being in an Asian culture and growing up with a very strong Asian background, my parents always wanted me to be a doctor and engineer. I went to the path of being an engineer. I graduated from McMaster as a chemical engineer, worked as an engineer for about a year, and then MasterChef Canada came, and my mom thought it was a good idea for me to try out. I obviously didn't think I would win. After that, I was fortunate enough to be crowned the champion, and when my parents saw that I could win that competition, they then got on board to support me in my dream. So definitely one of my greatest inspirations is my grandfather. My mom's dad used to be a dim sum chef. He had his own restaurant which closed before I got to try it because I was about 6 when it happened. But growing up, I would always go to his house. He'd always teach me how to cook. The very first thing I learned was how to fold dim sum. So at the age of 6, he taught me how to fold a fun goal, which is actually currently on our menu now as an homage to my grandfather. I definitely try and preserve a lot of traditional Chinese flavors, but not necessarily their cooking practices. Just because if I wanted a Chinese restaurant, I maybe wouldn't have made it so grand. Or I just don't want to be compared to any other Chinatown restaurant. I try to be one step above or a bit more modern, where maybe anyone of any culture or like your typical Caucasian can enjoy this restaurant. Yeah, I would definitely say our cuisine or food here caters to a mass variety of people. I wouldn't say it's just strictly catered to like the Chinese or like the Canadians, but it's kind of a middle ground where everyone can enjoy our food. I don't want to say our food is strictly traditional because it's not. We just take classics or traditional flavors and try and modernize it in a way that people can relate to it. So the essence of each dish is inspired by a traditional Chinese or any Asian dish. So we even have like Japanese, Korean. One key example would be our Peking duck. Obviously Peking duck, I didn't invent Peking duck. It's been around for a long time. But the way we prepare it and the duck we use specifically is much different than any Chinese restaurant. So our duck takes about 2 weeks to prepare, whereas another typical Chinese restaurant can prepare a Peking duck within like 2 days. I think for me, good Chinese food has to have its unique flavor. I feel like every Chinese dish has very distinct flavor. So like even a simple dish that everybody has eaten, I'm sure, is like sweet and sour pork. But whereas if you were to compare sweet and sour pork with like let's see, like a fried rice, they both have very distinct and different flavors. So I try and have that replicated in my menu. Each dish I want to have its own unique and different flavor. I don't want any dish on my menu to taste similar or even relatable. I want them all to have a unique experience. I definitely think having a restaurant in Canada is very advantageous just because you have so many tourists. But there's always people trying to be better and just do better than your competitor, so that just breeds better restaurants. I think I always try and use ingredients that can be grown in Canada just because it's easier to source, and I just like to represent Canada. I think Canadians are used to a certain palate or a certain flavor, so I shouldn't really bring too much from out of the country, but certain things, for example, like truffles, you have to get from like Italy or elsewhere, just because Canadian truffles aren't really the greatest, and then your customers also know that. So the ingredients that I choose to source out from outside of Canada would be ingredients where customers can appreciate the authenticity. But for the most part, I would try and source things from Canada. Canada even started growing their own ginseng. So ginseng used to be like a Chinese thing and only grown in China, but now Canadian ginseng's actually made a strong coming and people love it. So noodles for me and Chinese culture, the longer the noodle, the longer your life is supposed to be. So we never, for here, I know maybe customers may not notice it, but we never cut noodles because that's like cutting your luck in half. So we always try and leave the noodles long. Sometimes it may be difficult for the customers to eat and share, but we just do it because I grew up never cutting noodles, and that I just believe in a lot of superstition. Yeah, I'm quite superstitious. Around Chinese New Year, I have a lot of do's and don'ts. I try not to cut things on Chinese New Year day just because it's like cutting your luck in half. And then I'm the only person in the kitchen wearing red. So everybody always makes fun of me. I have red pants, red shirt, just because red obviously is very good luck for Chinese people.
Right. Is there any meaning behind some of the ingredients in these?
None of these ingredients in particular are like fortunate or like prosperous, but
come on, now you're disappointed.
yeah. Unfortunately, none of these ones.
Okay, I see. But generally speaking, do you ever find yourself coming across misconceptions about Chinese cuisine in general?
Like, yeah, you could say misconception in the fact that just because people haven't been exposed to it. I wouldn't say it's misconception because that would mean that they've been exposed and then they have a wrong idea. I just feel like a lot of people are more ignorant to the cuisine just because they haven't tasted it or had authenticity. And yeah, I've just been fortunate enough that I've gotten to travel around Asia so that I can actually try it and then hopefully bring some of it back for people to try in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just taken a lot of dedication, hard work, and time to perfect these dishes. So we'll start off with the CSB. CSB stands for Char Siu Bao. So Char Siu, of course, is Chinese barbecue pork. We make ours in-house with pork jowl. So it's the cheek of the pig. We get it in fresh, brine it, so like putting it in a saltwater bath, which seasons it and makes it juicy. Then we marinate it for 2 days in our house Char Siu marinade. And then we slow roast it, and then slow roast it for about an hour, and then high roast it briefly to get the char on the outside. Then you have Grandpa's Fun Go here. So this is something my grandpa taught me when I was 6. The dough is still his recipe. We've just elevated the inside with truffle, chicken, bamboo, and carrot. And this is another dough that we have to make fresh every day to keep the quality to how I'd like. And then our signature, this is our duck. So we call it the best duck in the city. It's a very labor-intensive process to how we prepare it. It is our modern take on a Peking duck. So first we get a duck from Brome Lake. It's a place in Quebec, Canadian-grown, nice plump duck. We get them in, we brine them again, so like putting a saltwater bath. And then after a 24-hour brine, we will blanch the duck. This is very important because we dry age our ducks. So similar to a steak, you can dry age a duck. So the aging process does 3 crucial things. 1, it concentrates the flavor of the protein. 2, it creates natural umami. And 3, it tenderizes the protein. During its aging process, we will brush it with pei soy, which is like a skin water solution of maltose and vinegar. The vinegar helps draw moisture from the skin, which keeps it crispy. The maltose gives it that nice golden color. and glass-like quality. So like as you can see, it's almost like glass, the skin. After that, we will slow roast it for 3 hours at a low temperature, similar to sous vide, to give it that nice medium rare pink consistency. And then we ladle it with 500-degree oil, which crisps and color the skin.
How long did it take you to perfect the process?
This duck took about this one in particular maybe took over a year to perfect.
Wow.
But it's been the same duck for the past couple years now.
And like, how do you wind up doing research? So you go to Chinese chefs, go to 1,000-year-old recipes?
I tried, at the beginning we would go to Chinese chefs just because you need to know the basics and how it's done properly before you try tweaking it or modernizing it. I feel like it'd be very arrogant to try and just do it your own way before even knowing how it's properly done. So we did go to traditional chefs first, but when we saw that the meat is always prepared in a certain way, and they usually roast it in a high oven, which means that you don't have the opportunity to give it that medium rare doneness because it's done in like a 500-degree oven. They don't even ladle it. I wanted a nice medium rare duck because for me, duck should always be medium rare. So that's how this slowly became the duck that we serve today.
Actually, when we were young, we are living in a big family, and whenever during a special occasion like Christmas, New Year, Thanksgiving, we'll have a big family gathering, and my mom and dad will cook a lot of very delicious Chinese food. So I think that's the time when we like cooking, because I learned from them. Yeah.
Well, my parents, they want to get us to get a better life, and they think Canada is better, so we move up here. So when I'm here in 2021, to start the business, as I say.
And we start our business when we came here, and now I help out with my sister, and we kind of doing the business together. By the time we are here, there's not a lot of Chinese people as compared to nowadays. So we will have, and the Toronto is quiet as compared to now, and we have a very hard time finding a location and also good staff as well. But as time go on, nowadays it's better. Like we got more people coming in now, and so getting a cook, waitress, people working for us is easier.
I like my customer because they are very nice to me, and they are happy. As long as they're happy eating here, wow, I'm okay. I like to work.
This is the notice leaf. We just put we're making the bamboo shrimp rice. Okay, this is authentic Canton food. It's really good seafood dishes. Okay, we'll put the notice leaf here, and then we have to prepare the rice, fried rice. We make the fried rice, and we'll put some. Okay, this is we'll prepare the steamed rice, and this is the fried garlic. Okay. The garlic, okay, we'll put it here, and then we will put the wok fire, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you just,
okay. Yeah. And now we also at the same time we can prepare the shrimp, and we'll put some shrimp with the shell and just tiger shrimp, and then we just open it like cut it half, and then we also have this is you can get in the supermarket, the garlic. Fresh garlic, chop it already. And then we'll just put it here.
all right.
And then we will put it in the steamer to steam it.
Okay. And then so now it kind of absorbs the garlic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And or wok fire doesn't matter. If you have home only don't have the wok, you can pan fry it. And then after that we'll put the bamboo leaf and then put the rice in. Yeah. Just the regular do the fried rice.
Yep.
即係咁樣就紅乾，跟住點啊？Don't put the water. Yeah. Don't put the. Don't put the. No, not the water.
Oh, okay.
We do it like this. Just do it like this. And then we'll put it. 係咪揸佢啊？ Just open this is the steamer. Open the steamer. Yeah, and then just put it in.
All right, and then we steam it.
Yeah, we steam it.
All right, and how long do we steam it for?
Wait about 10 minutes.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so essentially the idea behind it is very simple. You fry the rice with garlic.
Yeah.
Then you infuse some shrimp with garlic,
Yeah.
put it on top of rice, and then steam it all together.
Okay, yeah.
Well, we try to put a lot of good food here, like Chinese, Portuguese, and also a fusion. Sometimes we will find something that is people like we will introduce into our menu, and because we want everyone to be happy, a family coming here to be enjoying the food, so we kind of introduce a lot of different type of food and see if they like it or not. And right now we're pretty happy with our menu.
They like to try. Because different culture, some people they don't like to try, but in Canada, because multicultural, they like to try everything. Yeah, but like if you stay in a small town, US, the small town, the people don't like to try anything. But in here, because too many multicultural always emphasize, the government always emphasize the multicultural. So the people like to try different type of food. I think, that's why we have different people like to come and to try our food.
I find Canada allows us, because it's a multicultural country, so it allows us to introduce a lot of other food. Like we are from Macau, and Macau used to rule by Portugal. So we introduce some of the Portuguese food, like the Portuguese chicken, baked rice, and also the soy milky pudding, which is also in our menu, because we have it in Macau when we were very small. And these are one of the typical food that we like, and now it's in our menu as well.
佢要唔要開寫？咁喂，可唔可以開抽起？嚇？Put it like it.
All right.
We separate this is the egg white. Put it here.
All right, so 3 eggs, right?
Yeah, we try one first again. Yeah, only the egg white. Yeah. And then the other one leave it here.
I almost failed.
It's okay. Yeah. Try this, put it here too as well. Yeah, you got it. More practice. Okay, then this is the egg white.
Yeah.
Okay, then we do it when the rice done, and now we wok fry this and put it on the top of the rice.
Yeah.
Will be very pretty. Yeah. Okay. We can take that out now. So it's really hot, eh? Yeah.
Smells
then,
very nice.
Yeah. And this is the egg white. We put some spring onion on it. Yeah, and then put it on the top. This is how we do it. Yeah.
Right,
And
very
serve
nice.
the people. Yeah. It's like that.
Okay. And it keeps it warm and nice.
Yeah, it keeps you warm and fancy too. Yeah.
All right. So this is basically, you know, what your family and your
Yeah.
restaurant have started with.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a generation's worth of.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
And the milk pudding. Right. That's for dessert.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the dish that we have prepared. The name of it again?
The shrimp bamboo rice.
Shrimp bamboo rice.
Yeah.
Which is essentially kind of like your own creation,
Yeah.
but using Chinese techniques and
Yes,
methods.
yes, yes. Uh-huh.
And then this one.
This is Portuguese chicken. We put the crispy chicken, and this is kind of like a coconut sauce on it. And then we'll put some cheddar cheese, and then put the egg on the top. Yeah.
And this
Okay.
one.
And this is the wonton soup. The wonton basically, this is the wonton inside. It's the shrimp and with the pork. This is very Canton style. Okay. And this is the noodle. Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is what your family has specialized.
Yes, yes. And actually my father doing this business in Macau is 50 years. My father now is 95, but when actually the store is still in Macau. Yeah, it's my relative and they take care of the business.
Very nice. And so here we have a traditional setting, essentially, right? So like a table for big families.
Yes,
like,
yes.
This is what you usually have, like
Yes,
a family
yes,
dinner.
yeah.
Like this kind of revolving.
Yeah, and they like to share and everything. Yeah.
Well, it's like a family because a lot of customers come here. Like some come 3 times a week, and some people come almost every day. And we treat them as a friend and also like a family. Like whenever we see them, we will ask them how you doing, about their family. We talk about their life as well. So I think one of the things that make us happy is they are happy coming here and enjoying our food, and yeah, which make me happy as well.
So and then you also have right over here. You have the milk.
Yeah, milky pudding.
Milk pudding.
Yeah, this is basically there's a Portuguese dessert. We put the milk, condensed milk, and the milk mix it cream, and then let it set, and then put some crumbs in. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so very much.
Yeah.
It was an absolute pleasure.
Flavors full of history, traditions, and color are prevalent in this important cuisine today. Its prominence is undoubted, and its art is taking new heights as chefs strive to innovate yet also maintain traditions. In Canada, Chinese cuisine is dynamic and full of life, and it continues to inspire those who give it a try. Thank you for watching.